Hi, and welcome again to Connecting with your County Commissioners during the COVID-19 shutdown. We're doing a series of these videos with our county commissioners to let you connect with them outside of the boardroom, away from the incident management team, and talk about some of the issues that are important, that are happening behind the scenes, that are keeping this community going. Today we're talking about the RFTA bus system. And my guest today is George Newman, County Commissioner. How you doing, George? Long time no see.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to see you. George has been on the board of directors for RFTA for many years, and he's also an avid bus rider. It had to have been a difficult decision for the RFTA board to decide to keep the transportation system going. So many people are saying, no, there are too many people and we'll get sick, or the drivers are going to get sick. Well, how did you guys make that decision and why?
Right, that was a really difficult decision and discussion we had. Just what you were talking about, Pat. How do we keep not only the bus drivers safe, but also our passengers safe? And it's like many organizations that are going through the same struggle in terms of trying to mitigate and stop the spread of this highly contagious virus, the RFTA board decided first, should we continue this service? And if so, how will we do it safely for everybody? And so those were the key questions that were discussed around the table, and we came up with some solutions.
And you know, there are essential workers that rely on the bus system, so we couldn't just stop it altogether, because people who are essential to keeping what's left of what's operating in town operating and up and down the valley had to get to and from work. So things like, what did they do to limit bus ridership? What did they decide to do that there?
Well, first we wanted to ensure the safety for the bus drivers and our passengers. That's really RFTA's number one priority, is safety. And so we started to implement some immediate hygiene, sanitation, and social distancing protocols. So, for example, now people who are getting on and off the bus, they have to use the rear entrance to get on and off. And because of that, coincidentally, we've had to suspend fares. So there's little interaction or no interaction with the drivers. So we're protecting the drivers in that.
We were down at Ruby Park the other day and got some footage of people getting on and off the bus, and it'll kind of show what you were just talking about. Let's roll that video. Only 9 passengers are allowed on a bus at any time, and plus the driver, that makes 10. And the seats inside the buses, as you can see, are cordoned off to maintain that 6 feet of social distancing. They're nearly empty because the people that are working essential jobs, they're the only ones that are supposed to be commuting right now. If more than 9 people are ever waiting for a bus at any given time, they've got it set up so other buses are staged to swoop in and pick them up. So, George, not only, they're doing a great job. RFTA is a miracle. It's amazing how they've managed to do this. And another really interesting thing that they're doing behind the scenes is they have GPS on all of these buses. So it's a really sophisticated system behind the scenes. And we also went into their operations room to see how they track the buses, because as you said, they're only allowing 9 on. So what if 10 or 11 or 12 people are waiting at a bus stop? How do they manage to, I think they're rolling buses in behind the other and they're tracking them. Isn't that how they're doing that?
Right, exactly. They're shadowing. We've got buses shadowing each other bus on all the routes. And even though our routes haven't changed, our schedules have drastically been reduced. So because of that, for example, prior to the governor's orders in terms of shutting down the ski areas, March 9th, on that particular day, RFTA showed that they had transported 17,000 passengers. 5 weeks later, April 13th, RFTA now is transporting only 1,000 passengers per day. So the numbers have dropped drastically. And again, the goal is just to be able to move essential workers and those who need to get to those key places, whether it be for food or for medical.
Okay, so now I'd like to show our viewers what it looks like behind the scenes at RFTA. There are 2 guys in a control room. It's kind of like Apollo. It's kind of like the Apollo Center. Let's roll that tape to show the behind the scenes and how RFTA keeps track of its buses all the way up and down these valley routes.
For today.
Okay. Have you seen your schedule? So this is our tracking system. all of the buses are equipped with GPS, and we are able, and passenger counters and other information as well. So we're able to track the buses wherever they are. So I can click on this bus particular, 721, and go to vehicle details. And when we get to 9 or 8, we then bring the shadow bus into service to accommodate for the 9 maximum passengers. In addition, we also have several other buses that are staged up and down the valley that are not doing anything. So if for any reason the second shadow bus were to get full, we would then call into service one of the other buses that are staged in different areas throughout the valley.
So it really is fascinating how they do that, and they also told us from the operations room, because of the GPS system, they can, if their bus went to California, they could follow it there. It's really cool how technology has helped us keep the system going. Another thing that people worry about, I think, George, and maybe you as a bus rider yourself, would be, do I really want to get on one of those buses when the, COVID-19 cooties are all over them, I'm sure you discussed that with the RFTA board to say, boy, okay, if we're going to keep this operation going, you guys have got to keep these buses clean. Did you have those discussions as a board?
Oh, absolutely. And we've implemented a tremendous safety, personal hygiene operation. We are fogging buses every day, which gets to clean out areas that you normally couldn't reach. We are sanitizing all of our seats, our bus stations, our workstations, our offices at RFTA, and every 24 hours, a bus goes through a complete cleaning. So I think RFTA is really a showcase in terms of how to protect one's staff, passengers, by vigilantly maintaining a highly regimented cleaning operation. It's really impressive.
It is impressive, and guess what? We have video to show that too. It was really cool. I've been so curious all this time because I was a little afraid to get on the bus, and I like to ride the bus, but after I saw what I saw behind the scenes, that place is so clean. It's way cleaner than my house. I couldn't believe it. So let's roll the tape with our the maintenance director, Kenny Ozier, explaining how they're keeping everything spick and span.
We do a multi-pronged process. When the vehicles return back to the shop, our fuelers wipe their way on to the buses with viricides so they don't get contaminated by COVID-19. Once we started this process and we learned from the CDC that cleanliness was really important in conjunction with the viricide. So then we hired 2 additional people that are doing very intensive deep cleans, and we're trying to deep clean the entire fleet. Once they're done, then we fog the buses again before they go into service. The reason we chose to go with a bomb fog is because it totally treats the entire inside of the bus, both for the passengers and the driver's protection. And again, we do this every time a bus comes through the bus barn. We put a sticker on the windshield so the drivers, when they pull them out later, know that that bus has been treated before it goes into service.
So George, that fogging system is really interesting. It's how it just basically covers all the places that a person doing something by hand couldn't possibly touch. So it really does give you confidence that they're doing everything they can to keep those buses clean. And the fact that not as many people are riding them is also a plus. So,
I mean, what's really impressive to me is you've got a bus system, unlike perhaps one that just runs through one community, one town. Here's one that runs from Newcastle all the way up to Aspen, through 6, 7 municipalities, 3 counties, and to be able to maintain a safe operation through so many different jurisdictions is pretty incredible. RFTA is, as we all know, is the second largest public transit agency in the entire state. And
I
it's the
didn't know
first
that.
and the large, yeah, it's the first and the largest BRT in the country. So for us to be able to continue, even at a reduced service, to provide access to those essential workers and to those people who rely on RFTA as their only transit option, I think the board made a wise decision, and we are watching it carefully week by week as well.
Great. Well, thanks so much. This was really interesting, and I appreciate you telling us more about it. Are there any parting thoughts that you'd like to share with your constituency about transportation in general and how we're managing during the shutdown? What are some of the last things you'd like them to think
Right.
of?
I think as we talked about in terms of following our public health orders, complying with the public health orders, using the protocols for social distancing, we have seen as a community in Pickens County that we have been able to slow this virus. We are flattening the curve. We are seeing that the patient demand is not overwhelming our medical staff, our hospital, or our first responders. So that's very encouraging, but we need to be vigilant and continue to do that. There are some great websites for people who want to continue to be updated and find out additional resources that they could use, whether it be financial aid or human resources aid. One website, of course, is our website, www.pickencounty.com. And also every Thursday afternoon at 2 o'clock, we have a community update from our incident management team. And that can be viewed, streamed online from, again, www.pickencounty.com, or it's live on Grassroots. So stay informed, stay safe. We know that this virus is not going away. And only by doing things such as we've implemented at RFTA are we going to be able to continue to work our way through this crisis, and we'll see a gradual reopening of our business. So I have a couple of masks here.
Oh, yeah. I want to see your mask. Here's my mask.
My wife has been busy making masks for friends and
Oh,
family.
hold them up. I can't see them. Hold them up a little higher. Oh, nice. Those are pretty. Ooh. One with stars, and mine's kind of pink and purple.
Whether you're riding RFTA or whether you're going to the grocery store or anywhere where you're going to be close to people, whether you're inside or outside recreating, wear a mask that will not only protect you, but will protect others. If you are having symptoms, call your primary physician. Mm-hmm. If you're having respiratory problems or some serious needs, go to the ER. But remember to stay vigilant. Social distancing is working. The life you save may be your own.
Yeah, I agree. Well, George, thanks so much. Thanks everybody for joining us today. We're going to be in touch again soon with more programming about what's going on behind the scenes and outside of the boardroom. So keep in touch, and we'll be visiting with you again real soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.